While downgrading your property often carries a negative connotation, in today's economic climate, it could be one of the most financially smart moves you can take, especially when you are around my stage in life. Let me explain. As property prices in Singapore reach unprecedented highs month after month, many Singaporeans are beginning to rethink their home ownership strategies. Some have decided to abandon the dreams of upgrading to a private property and go for an EC instead. Those who are priced out from ECs are now seriously exploring bigger HDB flats at lower cost. And some couples who are just buying their first property have not much choice than to get a BTO in the new town. But for one group of existing homeowners, this time might be the best time for them. I'm referring to the homeowners who are living in older private condominiums, especially those that have passed the 15 to 20-year mark. This could be the perfect time to consider downgrading to a HDB flat. While true, in status-conscious Singapore, downgrading from a condo to a flat could give a negative connotation. Let me explain why this could just be the best move you will make. And potentially the window of opportunity is closing. So let me share a few reasons why moving from a private condominium to a HDB flat in 2025 is actually not a step back, but a strategic leap forward. First and foremost, private property price increases seem to be tapering off. As we all know, in recent years, Singapore's property market has seen significant appreciation. New launch condos, even those in the OCR, now frequently exceed 2,000 per square feet. Even in Tampines North, do we see prices at 2,200 per square feet and above? But do you know that this growth isn't uniform across the board? Older private condos, especially those beyond 20 years old, are experiencing much slower price growth compared to new launches. I mean, do you know that you can still find older freehold condos asking for 1,200 per square feet only? The truth is this. Data trends show that in the first 10 years, a private condo may appreciate by 40 to 60%. But between 10 to 20 years, growth slows to 10 to 20%. Beyond 20 years, annual appreciation can drop to under 2%, if not stagnate altogether. So when your property enters this maturity stage, the value it commands in the resale market often struggles to keep pace with inflation, let alone newer developments. Holding on to an aging asset with diminishing returns may not be the best use of your equity. Before I continue with the second reason, do help me to like this video if you think what I'm sharing here makes sense. Better yet, subscribe to my channel and set notifications to all so that you won't miss out the next video I'll be making on similar useful topics like this one that probably not many others dare to discuss. Okay, let's head back to the next reason. So, secondly, smart investors, including homeowners, unlock their equity at the peak. So, if your private property has appreciated significantly since purchase, you may now be sitting on hundreds of thousands, if not over $1 million in paper gains. But gains on paper don't pay the bills or grow unless you cash them out. By selling your private condo now, while prices are still high, you can unlock the equity before the market plateaus. This capital can then be redeployed into other investment opportunities such as a fully paid HDB flat with no loan burden, so no worries henceforth. Diversified investments in stocks, REITs or even overseas properties, though I don't really recommend this option or even a second. Smaller private unit to invest in to rent out while you stay in a flat. Rather than letting your capital remain trapped in a depreciating asset, cashing out gives you flexibility, liquidity, and potential growth. Third, downgrading is not always downsizing. Yes, it's a misconception that moving from a condo to a HDB flat means sacrificing space or quality of life. In fact, many HDB flats, even a 5-room flat, can be larger than private condos built after 2010. And we are not even looking at the EAs and EMs yet. With fairly standard and more practical space, many HDB homes offer larger internal floor areas, especially bigger bedrooms. Functional squarish layouts that are space efficient and distinct, community-based living with good accessibility options and amenities. Yes, you don't have a swimming pool or function room downstairs anymore, but seriously ask yourself, how often do you use those? Moreover, the HDB resale market offers mature estates with great transport connectivity, markets, schools and clinics. And if your condo is in a new town, chances are a flat offers even better accessibility options. So honestly, in many cases, the downgrade is in labour only and truly not in comfort or convenience. Fourth, and this is really important if you're at my age, you get to enjoy a mortgage-free life or a much smaller one at least. Let's put this into perspective. Suppose you sell your 3-bedroom condo in the OCR for just 1.8 million. You then purchase a resale 5-room HDB for 800,000. Assuming you've already paid down part of your private mortgage, you could walk away with no more outstanding mortgage and potentially more than 800,000 in cash after your HDB purchase, and drastically reduced monthly expenses with no MCST fees and lower utility bills. Even if you take a small loan on the HDB to preserve liquidity, the mortgage will be a fraction of what you were paying for your condo. This breathing space can relieve financial pressure, support early retirement, or fund your children's education. Fifth, prepare for retirement early. FIRE or financial independence. Retire early is a trend nowadays. Many people work so hard for a property that they can't enjoy, and this isn't a joke. The reality is, when the average family finally finishes paying for the condo at 65 years old, they are left with little savings and no youth left to enjoy. That's because as CPF usage on property is capped by the valuation limit and withdrawal limit. Those who stretch their CPF to finance a private condo may find their retirement funds depleted in the long run. And when they finally decide to downgrade at that age, because the kids have left their home already, what can they do with the money then? Downgrading to a fully paid HDB and refunding CPF used, including accrued interest, can help restore your retirement adequacy early. This move is particularly timely if you're over 45 and eyeing early retirement. Your income has stagnated but expenses haven't, and you want to shield your finances from future property tax hikes or low interest volatility. Think of it as property rebalancing, moving your assets in line with your long-term needs and capacity. And if you cannot picture that, just imagine an earlier retirement at 45 or 50 when you downgrade and cash out and move into a flat that can be fully paid for. What you have is excess funds from your sale and probably more savings from not having to pay mortgages anymore. Isn't that a step towards FIRE? And lastly, future-proofing your financial strategy. While HDB flats have the limitations like the 5-year MOP and restrictions on renting out whole units early, they're still a protected and resilient form of housing. And if you already enjoyed one private property cycle, moving to HDB doesn't mean you've exited the market forever. And you know what? If you're still in your 40s and perhaps even in your early 50s, the capital unlocked today could help you re-enter the market later. How? Well, with the CPF and cash unlock, it's actually possible for one member of the couple, say the husband, to buy the HDB flat on his own. His available CPF should be enough to pay for a huge percentage of the flat, if not entirely. Little do you know that even with only one name, the couple can still buy the flat legally. And I'm not talking about that 99-1 loophole. In this case, the wife will be an occupier. The only thing here is that you need patience to write out the 5-year MOP. And once that's up, the wife can use the CPF and whatever cash they have accumulated over those 5 years to perhaps buy a smaller private unit, even a freehold one, when prices correct. Or if they want to take care of the child, the wife can co-invest with them in a new launch. Of course, there's still one more step than just selling your condo and buying a flat. There's still a 15-month wait-up period where you can't buy a flat. But with rental prices correcting to around 3,000 for 5-room flats, this wouldn't be an issue for most who have made a good profit already. And let me share another strategy if you wish to still stay in a condo after the downgrade. Buy a good sized flat, rent it out at 3,000 or 3,500. Then you go rent a private condo at 4,500. I tell you, after my calculations, it actually will make sense because that 1,000 to 1,500 cash top-up monthly, even after 10 years, will be lower than the interest you would have to pay to the bank in this period. So honestly, if you know how to look at it from a financial point of view, not using your emotions too much, a downgrade now is simply a pivot, not a retreat. So don't let your sentiments hold back this strategy. A condo is a good investment tool, yes, but with sizes of only 700 square feet for a 4-member family, that can be really uncomfortable. So what if you have facilities downstairs? The reality is, after the first year, most condo owners don't use them anymore. And as I explained, if your condo is approaching 15 to 20 years old, you really don't have a lot of time before this opportunity to downgrade to a better life closes. I tell you, home ownership in Singapore is a deeply emotional thing. Many of us equate upgrading to a private property as a life achievement. That's what good marketing depicts. Don't get me wrong, it is, and it should be celebrated. I'd owned and stayed in a freehold condo for 20 years, but after a while it gets boring unless I upgrade again. But with prices of today, it makes no sense to move to a smaller home and pay more. And moreover, when I saw that my hard-earned investment becomes stagnant after a while, and worse, my family doesn't utilize my condo facilities fully other than staying within the 4 indoor walls, I really thought that I would be missing out on the greatest opportunity to make a huge capital gain in my life. Just as it was smart to buy low in the 2000s and riding the wave up, it was now wise to evaluate when that wave had crested. So I downgraded. And I never have been happier with less stress, less financial commitment, more space. I have a bigger and newer home with none of the deterioration in the past older condo. We have better accessibility to the MRT now, and we have much better food options. And honestly, my teenage children didn't even mind this downgrade. To them, our flat is a much better home in every aspect. So, selling your aging private condo and moving into a well-located, spacious HDB flat could unlock unprecedented financial flexibility, reduce monthly strain, and help you reallocate your wealth in smarter ways. So, let me leave you with this. In today's climate where prices are peaking and growth is slowing, a downgrade really isn't a downgrade. It's a strategy to make more money. And 2025 might just be the best time to make this move.